For centuries, the supernatural has had a profound effect on humankind. Folklore stems from our fear of the unknown, the creatures that lurked out there in the dark. Real-world threats became the denizens of haunted places. Actual danger becomes the perils of the soul. But what if haunting was not all scary, terror-inducing horrors? What if haunting was a beautiful experience, one that left us in awe of the majesty of it all, the wonder and the knowing that there is something more to life and death? It just isn't what we thought it was. Join me in the haunting place, where this evening we discover further tales from a professional psychic medium and explore the real-world impact the paranormal has upon our psyche and psychological well-being. Hello, and welcome to the haunting place. Tonight we gaze into the ghostly flame to reflect upon how we are all shaped by the events around us, and how we, in turn, shape the events around us. From the trinkets we keep and the decorative choices we make, the items we surround ourselves with, and the places that act as adornments of us, our own unique psychological profiles are created by living the lives we live. So how does an encounter with the paranormal, a supernatural experience, a visit to a haunted location, affect us? Tonight we hear two stories from a haunted location in Cornwall, and how those experiences had a profound psychological impact on those who experienced the ghosts of Bodmin Jail. On a dark and cold autumnal night, just like tonight, the wind whistles a warning to those who hear it, howling through the windows of a dark edifice. The holes contain no glass or shutters to block out the constant stream of icy air. Having travelled across the wide ocean and over the desolate moor, this fierce gale protests as it is hindered by the high skeletal wall and jagged edges of a building whose blackness comes more from its reputation than from the stone of which those walls are made. This prison, this place of incarceration and torment and death, is in notoriety the site of many injustices, whilst also standing as testament to how the hand of Lady Justice can reach out to protect the innocent, those who lived safer outside these walls because of her actions to keep the guilty trapped within. Home to murderers and cut-purses alike, yet also those whose only crime was to exist at all. These lost lives still wander the winding passages and labyrinthine corridors of Bodmin Jail. Yet these phantoms of the shadows do not appear to everyone, seeking out only those who share their story, the seekers and unsuspecting visitors alike, who in some way reflect the suffering of the ghosts themselves. As a small band of travellers navigate a path through the jail, some with trepidation, others filled with excitement, a few with sneering indifference, the adventure unfolds, and the narratives long forgotten reveal themselves once again to those who are willing and able to listen. Upon a certain staircase leading to a particular parapet, a woman in blue ambles on her nightly path, bereft and weeping for the child she has lost. And whilst this habit is one she undertakes each night and has done for centuries, she only appears to women in the group who have shared the experience of loss and the most terrible tragedy a loving mother can face. As they weep together, they grieve and heal, until in a burst of brilliant light, she is gone. And her companion in this moment of mourning for their shared loss leaves the building feeling lighter and remembering the love that was there can never die. And for a while, the staircase and the parapet remain empty, devoid of motion, except for the swirling dust caught in a zephyr for a brief time. Yet, when another woman who has suffered the same pain arrives, so the woman in blue returns to make that same voyage she has made 100 times and will do 100 more. However, when a young woman who has previously met the Blue Lady returns for a second or third adventure, she will remain completely unable to sense her ethereal sister, even when another woman in the group is grieving her loss whilst bathed in blue. Yet even so, there remains a connection, not to the woman in blue, but to the living, grieving companion in the group. Thus, for the women who know and share that meeting with the Blue Lady, the healing together of that pain, always once, just once, there is a kinship and a shared yet unspoken bond. The momentary, fleeting glimpse of a woman who suffered and then who healed as she tumbled to her death, swathed in the blue of her baby's shawl. And this is but one of those who haunt this place, the lost and alone, the dark and dangerous, the frightened and the yearning. The little boy who seeks out a man in the group, only a man who suffered at his father's lack of love. I can feel his little fingers holding mine, the man will say as they weep together, the little boy who never knew adulthood, and the man who lost his childhood to the sting of being unloved. This seemingly endless cycle of father and son, abuse begetting abuse, is broken as two lonely and lost children find within themselves the courage of men. The ghostly form of the orphan of Bodmin Jail and the living man who may as well have been an orphan for the lack of a father in any real sense, share a moment that will impact the man psychologically, repairing trauma that has been with him a lifetime. And as the boy fades, taking with him the orphan the man has held within for so long, they are both, at last, in peace. The orphan from the love he has been given by the man healed of his broken heart with the realization that he is enough. He can love enough for himself and others. And thus within this place, these walls that stand strong against the fearsome battering of the wind, wrapped like a fist around the horror and the suffering, holding it inside, trapped and forever in a perpetual loop for each new person who treads these halls and cells, there is a glimmer, but a small, faint sparkle of light that promises redemption for those who dare to love, to heal, to make themselves anew. The way we map our inner world into the outer can be seen in the ghosts that we are aware of. These things called hauntings are not available to all. Only when they reflect the experiences of the individuals are they apparent. We often think of ghosts as being spirits of the dead, something fervently debated by skeptics and believers, and on occasion those who wander in between the polarized viewpoints. Yet when a haunting is viewed over time and with many different people, the phenomenon is not so much one of the paranormal, of the dead and the lost, but one of the psychological and emotional. How different people connect with different experiences of different ghosts, all of which seem to have some deep-seated connection between them. Is it an autonomous entity, a ghostly apparition that haunts a certain room, staircase, or a dark corner? Or is it that the physical space provokes shared memories or psychological cues? How a room that looks like an old classroom could conjure up a theme of childhood trauma, or a staircase that ends in a crumbling parapet could trigger a sense of falling. Manhole covers and trapdoors often create connections with people who are said to have been hung in a previous lifetime, if one believes such things. But is the act of hanging merely a neurological link to breathing issues, such as asthma, or even a repressed memory of having one's breathing restricted? Either way, when trapdoors or manhole covers are situated at a reputedly haunting location, they tend to trigger ghostly experiences of being hung within those who have breathing conditions or have been suffocated or strangled in their lives, whether they remember or not. Deep water and the fear of not being able to touch the bottom with one's feet also have the same effect in haunting places, an association with witchcraft, where some women and occasionally men who have been othered by life experience ghosts who have been drowned, often in a ducking stool, for their innocence. A sense of injustice for being punished by authorities who have no right to condemn, and groups who ostracize for no reason other than a person's differences. Were they drowned in the waters of a past life, or by the hatred and intolerance of society in this one? We map our cerebral view of the world into every place and situation we venture into. Take away the light, familiar sounds and circumstance, and we tap into deep, sometimes repressed aspects of our psyche, and we map them into a place. They stir up fears and horrors that we cannot remember, maybe even because they came with us into this life from ancestral trauma. The 2 world wars our ancestors faced must have left some scarring, be it societal, mimetic, or genetic. We share our hidden selves in every conversation and choice. We have biases, both in opinion and confirmation of what is real. And when we encounter a ghost of the dead, of the past, or of the living and the now, when we venture into the unknown and open ourselves up to the darkness that shrouds the world and ourselves, the ghosts come to reveal what is hidden within us. But they only come once, when what is hidden is revealed and released. When a person refuses to look inside of themselves and heal something that is broken, the ghosts remain for them, forever haunting, their lonely tenure binding them to that particular place and habitual routine. For ghosts are not separate from us. They are us. Their lives were to the world what our lives are now. And through the common thread we heal, we change, we transform, or not. For what you believe to be true is what is real for you, and is the thing that conjures the ghosts that are real or unreal for you. Some grow from inner work upon themselves, some through life experience, some grow through creating haunting narratives and art, some through doing, And then there are those who grow through the haunting places of our world and the ghostly experiences they encounter there.